From the PEP Radio Newsroom, we have this news from the U.S. Senate. The Senate passed a broad bill on Thursday to make U.S. housing more accessible and affordable, a rare bipartisan effort in Congress to address a growing national problem. The bill, which passed 89 to 10, would reduce regulations, regulate corporate investors, and expand how housing dollars can be used to build affordable homes and rentals. It will now head back to the House, which passed a similar bill earlier this year. We have a housing shortage all across America, said Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who worked with Republicans to win overwhelming support from both parties for this legislation. We need more housing of every kind, more housing for first-time home buyers, more housing for renters, more housing for seniors, more housing for people with disabilities, more rural housing, more urban housing, more, and more. The legislation, she said, will help drive down prices. Senate Banking Committee Chairman Tim Scott, the Republican from South Carolina, led the effort with Warren. He said ahead of the vote that the Senate would do what so many people failed to do in this legislative body for the last few decades, and that is pass consequential legislation that makes it easier to become a homeowner. Despite the bipartisan vote in the Senate and a shared eagerness to pass the legislation ahead of the midterm elections, it's unclear whether the House will take up the bill again or if President Donald Trump will sign it. Trump has backed the legislation through the bipartisan negotiations, but he has also slowed its momentum with a declaration last weekend that he won't sign any new measures unless Congress passes legislation that would require voters to show proof of citizenship and end most mail-in balloting. The Senate is expected to begin consideration of that bill next week, but it is unlikely to pass as all Democrats oppose it. At the same time, House leaders have indicated that they are unlikely to accept the Senate version of the housing legislation and have suggested that they could launch a formal conference process to negotiate a final deal between the chambers, a process that could take several months. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, the Republican of South Dakota, said ahead of the bill's passage that conference negotiations are a possibility, but obviously the quickest way to do this would be to pick up the Senate bill and pass it. If the White House wants that to happen, he said, they'll probably have to make that argument to House leadership. That's what we know for now from the PEP Radio Newsroom. I'm David Moore.